Hey everybody, I'm Andy Smith. I'm a 30-year comic book veteran, having worked for Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Image Comics, Cross Generation, Ominous Press. You name it, I've probably worked for them. And I do other things art-wise outside of comics in the field of advertising. I've also written some books on drawing comics you might have seen. Drawing American manga superheroes, Drawing Dynamic Comics was my first book. And I also did the handy little How to Draw Superhero sketchbook where all you need is a pencil because you do all the work right inside the book. Enough about that. This is the Book Look series. The Book Look series is where I grab a book off my library. You can see the tons of books I have behind me. And I go through it page by page with you so you can see if it's a book that you might want to buy. I like to know what I want to buy before I buy it, and I feel this is a way to give you some insight into these books. So join me for today's book look. Thanks. Hello everybody and welcome to another book look. I'm your host with the most, Andy Smith, and today we're going to look at not all three of these, but this one in the center. Liam Sharp did a campaign, crowdfund campaign over the past couple years, and he put out 3 volumes going over his work over the past 30 some years in the comic book industry. This was volume 1, gold. Volume 2 is silver, which is mostly his black and white art from comics. I gotta admit, this is one of my favorite ones because love comic book art, love color. And this is volume 3, which I got a little bit ago, and that's the one we're going to look at today. This is bronze, so it went gold, silver, bronze. I think he did a slipcase as well. You can put them all in. I did not back that tier because I don't really care about slipcases, to be honest. Each one came with something. This is a card of his. He's a great, Liam is just all around. He's a writer. He does beautiful black and white art. He does full color in regards to painting and now digital painting as well. Each one of these books has a nice ribbon for a bookmark. This is the thinner out of the 3 books. This one clocks in at, let's see here. Oh no, are there no page numbers? Oh, come on, Liam. Oh, I don't see page numbers. I don't know what it clocks in at. It's hefty. It's a couple hundred pages. The production on these books is fantastic. First printing March 2023, so I got it a little after that. Scott Dunbier wrote the introduction to this one. A note from the author, David Gillette. And this one just covers, I guess you could say, lesser known works of Liam's. The thing I like about Liam's stuff, when he first started off, you can tell he's from the UK. He has a very heavy Simon Bisley influence, but he also, you can tell, is influenced by Bill Sienkiewicz and people like that as well. Even doing posters like this. That's really cool. Nice graphic design. This oil and canvas sketch of his wife and their newborn back, she's in her 20s now, I think, so early 2000s. I love it how it says it's a sketch. I mean, I think it's qualifies as a finished painting, to be honest, just because it's not totally full color and fully realized. To me, it's still a finished painting, but that's gorgeous. This is another piece he did. So not only does comic book type work, but great landscapes too. I mean, people look at Bob Ross, eat your heart out, is what I say when I see this. I mean, that is just beautiful. He had a, what was his last, he came back to comics when they did Wonder Woman Rebirth. Not Gail Simone, him and Nicola Scott drew it, kind of alternating issues, and I really liked what Liam did on it. And then after that, he penciled and inked the Brave and the Bold series for DC, which was really nice. And then after that, and there's little things in there he did in between, like a Justice League issue here and stuff like that. And the Justice League issue he did was really nice. But then he took on my favorite character at DC, Green Lantern, and did 2 seasons, they called it. Season 1 and Season 2. Each season was 12 issues. So he did 24 issues of Green Lantern. Real quick, this mermaid painted as a birthday gift for his sister, 2004. That's really cool. It looks like mixed media, watercolor, maybe some opaque gouache or acrylic. But back to the Green Lantern. So Grant Morrison wrote the Green Lantern stuff, and it was Season 1 and Season 2. Season 1, he did full pencils and inks, and Steve Oliff did most of the coloring. Season 2, he did as well, but then it was around issue 8 or 9, if I remember correctly, and he switched over, and instead of doing pencils and inks and having a colorist, he ended up doing full digital painting. And I'll be honest, I like his digital painting, but it threw me off because the whole consistency of the run was pencils and inks, traditional, and then, digital color. And to have the last few issues of 24 issues digitally painted just really threw me off, to be honest. I wasn't a big fan of it because it's just not consistent. And I'd rather have seen either 24 issues of digital painting or, as he started it, pencils and inks, and continue and finish it that way. That's just me. Nothing against Liam's work on the series, because like I said, I really enjoy his work. Just a little inconsistent. I'm looking on my bookshelf. That's why I haven't turned the page yet, to see if I can find. I've got one of the trade paperbacks too of it, and I was going to show you guys, but for some odd reason, it is escaping me on where the heck it is. That's weird. Okay. Anyhow, back to this. January Man. So these are, like I said, things you really haven't seen a lot of. I mean, this little piece here is a personal work, oil on hard board. I don't know. I just don't have the time. Oh, let's get back to the January Man. I don't have the time to just do stuff like this. I mean, it seems like all my time is either spent, family stuff or just, drawing. Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. We'll talk about that later. My crowdfund campaign. January Man started out as a script for a short film about the last Neanderthal still walking among us, carrying the ancient memories of his ancestors, a literal interpretation of the Jungian concept of the collective subconscious, and the troubled artist suffering from waking dreams that threatened to derail his life. It was almost produced by Channel 4, after which I conceived it as a standalone comic. So that is pretty cool. So this is his digital type stuff. I'm pretty sure this is digital. Maybe there's some traditional in here. Mixed media. You can see he's a fan of David McKeon as well. That artist. And, you get some of the Bill Sienkiewicz in here with the textures and patterns and such. Stuff like this, incorporating photographs and stuff. Really cool. I just don't visualize stuff this way at all. Maybe if I immersed myself into like Bill's work on like Stray Toasters and more of David McKeon's work. I think if you immerse yourself into somebody's work that deeply, it can kind of rub off, and you can start experimenting and producing work like that. I was just never a big fan of like that type of stuff. So that's why I don't. But I do enjoy looking at it when it's well done like this. It gives you an alien vibe. This is real like wacky Sienkiewicz stuff it reminds me of. Pretty cool. I haven't even read all this yet. I still have to read this stuff too. I'm such a visual guy. I just love looking at the visuals and the artwork. Planners, when virtual reality is no longer enough. See, this is where I love this stuff. You can really see here his Bisley influence in it. I'm assuming he did colors on this as well. I love this stuff. This one I'm talking about. I love this stuff. I would love to see DC reproduce his Green Lantern work in black and white. Of course, it'd be tough because the digital he did for the last few. Where is that? See, now I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm actually up looking at my bookshelf to try and find the Green Lantern trade paperback of his that I have. But I have a feeling it's next to my desk, which is not close by for me to grab. So we'll have to just, you know, if you want to look at his Green Lantern stuff, go look at it online. The black and white silver edition, there's some of the Green Lantern stuff in there. Maybe I'll pull that out when I'm done with this one. So this is really cool, but once again, it's just not my cup of tea. It would be hard for me to read stuff like this, to buy a book. I mean, the story would have to sell me so hard to make me go, okay, let me invest in this. It's really more of just to get back to this. This is really like, I love comic books for the traditional storytelling. You know, Joe Kubert, one of my favorite artists of all time, his storytelling, the flow from panel to panel. And this stuff is cool, but at the same time, they're just standalone shots. There's no real flow of storytelling in that type of work. Liam Sharp's Junks. Mark Millar says Liam was already one of the most exciting British artists to emerge in the current generation, influenced by all the greats from Frazetta to Windsor Smith, but he's taken his work to a new level with Junks and completely reinvented himself. I'm seriously impressed. I gotta admit, love that silhouette. Good silhouette like that. So Junks was created in 1999, originally for ComX, and was intended to be illustrated by another artist. I was and remain keen to establish myself as much as a writer as I am an illustrator, as it's fundamental love writing stories. But we're also very much in an age where writing is the top of the creative pyramid, certainly in comics at least. Da-da-da. I'm just going to paraphrase, read through this, see if there's any other things to point out. Yourself less than your optimal files. Most of the masters were lost in computer crash. Oh, God, that is awful. Oh, so he lost a lot of the masters and stuff. That sucks. See, this is cool. I like this. Black and white, digital coloring. Nice storytelling there. Very cool. You can definitely see a difference in storytelling between this and the digital stuff he was doing. I love this. That's cool. And these aren't really good files, he said. Oh, this would have been cool to see it completely realized. He's a guy I'd love to see do a drawing of Kor-Drath, or First Man for that matter. Nice sci-fi looking stuff here. See, I love this. Like I said, he does very nice painting and digital art, but God, I love traditional stuff so much. That is just so freaking cool looking. So cool. God, I'd love to know. I'm going to have to, you know, a part of me wants to read this, but a part of me doesn't, because I know it's unfinished and I'll never get a conclusion to it. But it's very cool. I love his inking, nice and loose. That's what I liked about the Green Lantern work that he did. Not super anally tight. Lots of energy. Love stuff like that. Well, I'm going to have to read this. And then I'm going to get to the end and be like, no, I'll never know how it ended. Super cool. Liam, I would love to see do a drawing of Megaton Man. That would just be the coolest. Captain Stone is another book he did pencils and inks on that he wrote as well. And I do own that. That did come out as a hardcover. Very mixed media in that work as well. But he did such a beautiful, beautiful job on it. Oops, flip the page here. The Possessed, so this is mixed media and digital, which I think is really cool. Stonehenge, this was the last stuff he did. He used to live, he actually moved over here to the States. I think he said it was a decade ago, maybe 11, 12 years ago, and lived in California. And he just, as in the past few months, picked up and moved back to the UK. So I can't imagine doing a transatlantic move like that. I don't like moving. The longest move I had was from Syracuse to Florida. And the shortest move was literally about 1.5 miles from one house to another. And I hated it. I could not imagine moving. In the house we're in now, that we've been in for 10 years, we moved, what was it? It was about 5 miles. I couldn't imagine transatlantic. It was awful. I did not buy Stonehenge. It is a hardcover now, so I probably will get it in either hardcover or trade paperback. It's all digital type stuff like this. Once again, I like more traditional stuff. I think this work is very beautiful to look at. And honestly, I think it'd be cool. I would love to be able to sit down with someone and have them kind of like walk me through their process and learn it. But it's just, I don't know. It's not, like I said, I really like the traditional type of storytelling. Oh yeah, Liam also did Spawn the Dark Ages. That was some very nice looking stuff too. See, I don't know, I don't think if I learned how to do this, I could produce a whole book, because I think I would be bored. I just love the aspect of doing pencils and inks so much. But that's one of the things. That's why it's fun to look at this stuff, because it's not something that I do a lot. Oh, he also did Gears of War based on the video game. I actually did a pinup that was printed in a Gears of War. Was it a pinup book? Did they do a pinup book? They might have just done a pinup book. Anyhow, I did a pinup. And it was fun. It was fun to do. Liam did that. It was all pencils and inks. I don't remember who did the colors, but it was really cool looking stuff. I love his work because he inks with a lot of brush. Let's see. Out of the blue, Dark Horse reached out to see about Liam working on Conan, his dream title. Cullen Bunn was set to write, but another possibility was also floating around, Wonder Woman. Liam heard that Frank Cho had been offered the title, something Frank later denied, but had turned it down. It seems kind of a fun book for him. You'd think you would love it. I certainly didn't instantly think, oh man, I have to do that book. But he did end up doing Wonder Woman, and I think that was a good call. It says, it was Thanksgiving with local friends when Liam heard about Wonder Woman. As he arrived home that evening, he fired up his computer. The screensaver was an old Red Sonja cover inspired by Barry Windsor Smith's ultra-detailed stylings of the character. Yeah, Liam did an issue of Red Sonja. I highly recommend going to get it. I thought, you could do Wonder Woman like that. Ironically, Liam rarely dreams about superheroes, but that night he dreamed about Themyscira and great warrior queen riding the seas through time. Maybe there's something to this, he says. Then there's the Red Sonja screensaver again. So he texted Jim Lee. That's cool. I would have to email Jim. I don't have his phone number. It was a bit back in the day, I'd sent the facts of what would end up being Death's Head 2 by Paul Neary, saying, so that's cool. He sent him the Red Sonja piece, and Jim was like, let's do it, basically. So there you go. That's how it worked out. Here he's talking about the Brave and the Bold and the Green Lantern. Next week, you know what? Next week, let's make this a Liam Sharp deal. Next week, we'll do this book to go over. This is the piece he sent, by the way, that he's talking about. Very beautiful. So next week, we will do the Liam Sharp silver edition, and then we'll end on the gold. So we'll go backwards. How's that? Or, see, this stuff is just gorgeous. I mean, the thing about Liam is, like, I admit, I'm a pencil and ink. I can color in Photoshop. I can digitally paint. I've done it before, and I've done traditional painting, but I am not near this level when it comes to the color stuff. Black and white, sure, but color, oof. I mean, like, you go from seeing the beautiful landscape painting he did in the beginning of the book to something very abstract like these pieces. Maybe if I did some mushrooms or something, I would visualize stuff like this. I don't know. I don't know if he has these books offered for sale on a website or not, or if it was basically get them on the campaign, and once you get them, if you didn't, too bad. If you like this stuff, definitely go look. If you don't see a link in the description below, it's because I couldn't find them for sale anywhere else. And if I can, I will definitely post the link for you guys. Red Sonja Vampirella Savage Tales cover. Definitely gets the type of horse he draws from Bisley. That thing is just brutish. I mean, that horse would just crush you. I love the painting, though. You're focused right in here. Nice A triangle design. Highlight to really focus the eye in this shape right here. Love how this all fades down to black like that. Very Frazetta-esque in that sense. The unsung steady constant of the day-to-day. And there you go. January 2023. I will have to give that a read as well. So next week we will do... Oh, let me put this back in here. We will do the silver edition. And I'm going to do a bonus again, like I did before. And you're like, what's a bonus? A bonus is just a shorter book to look through. So we'll do it with this book right here. Let me change the focus because this is a smaller book. There we go. Zoom it in. This is Mahmoud Asrar, Commission Compendium 2017. I met him in New York that year and got this from him. I first discovered his work on a little known image book called Dynamo, I hope you guys can hear me. This is where I first discovered his work. Dynamo 5, The Nuclear Family, Volume 1. Just to show you how long he's been in the business, because it has been a bit. This came out, this is the first printing in 2007. It collects Dynamo 5, 1 through 7. They sold this for $9. This is where I first discovered his work. Just something about it. You can see from this stuff, early work of his, where he was going, you could say. Just great. I love this. Love that right there. Super cool looking. So anyhow, from there, he went on to, Marvel and DC, and, he's just blown up. He did the new version of Conan way back when Marvel first started it again. I thought that was great, his rendition. So anyhow, this is a sketchbook. Like a lot of guys, he does a lot of Copic marker stuff. This, just beautiful too, with the depth you got in this. And this is something kind of like Adam Hughes. You could scan this in and just tint it with color, and it would look great. He's a great Instagram follow. I recommend as well. Really nice stuff here. I do have Copics. I do have a nice grayscale set of Copics. I haven't used them in a while, but I see stuff like this and I think, I gotta get back to doing Copics again. Cool Captain America. He's one of the guys that draws more realistic proportions, even in height, head height, not the typical 8-head high heroes, but I like it. I like the way it looks. I think it works really well. Some guys do that and I don't like it at all, but I think he does it great. Even characters I don't really like Jane Foster's Thor, I love the design. I gotta admit, it's a nice costume design. Oh man, I wish I could open this up more so you could see this piece right here, Captain America, Black Widow. It's almost teenager looking with the size he makes them. I'd like to see him a little bigger, but the women are just on point. And these clouds back here are just gorgeous. And I like this costume. Don't get me wrong. I prefer this costume. Actually, I prefer Miss Marvel's original costume. But I like this upgrade. It was issue 20 or 21. I don't mind this. Okay, fine. She's wearing more clothes. I don't even mind the short hair. It just shows you drawn by somebody really good. It works. It's so funny. When I draw somebody, sometimes I'll go, oh, the head's too big, and I reduce it down. But when I see somebody else and I go, I don't even think like, oh, that head's too big. I just accept it. And this is what I'm saying. He does more realistic proportions, but it works. Still not a big fan of Peter Quill in that outfit. Give me the classic outfit he used to wear as Star-Lord. Beast, Sasquatch. If only there was a Vindicator in here. Because you know me, my love for Vindicator. Definitely Adam Hughes inspired by looking at his art as well. Adam really broke out with the Copics before anybody else. And you can see it just set a trend for people to really get going with Copics and stuff. This is one of those things too. I don't know how you do this, and if you have to use whiteout. But then if you see this in black and white, there's not a lot of inking going on with his inking style. It's very, so much is done in color, so I guess you don't really need to worry about it. And he's using markers, not Copics. No, maybe he is using Copic liners, black liners to ink with. I'm not sure, but he's using something like that, whether it's microns or whatnot. Nice twist and shout. I grew up in a time where comics were production line. You get the penciler, the inker, the colorist, so on and so forth. And I used to love just doing pencils and being teamed up with great inkers. And now, of course, I just ink my own work, which I love doing, and I wouldn't go back. But I still like working have that mindset of working with a colorist, you know, a good colorist and stuff. He did do Supergirl when it was the New 52. I do like that costume for Supergirl. That was really fun. Now I'm just looking at my bookshelf just to see if I own the Supergirl trade paperback, his work. I do not. See, she likes Star Wars. More classic there. Power Girl. Before she became, she could still be a little heftier in the chest if you ask me. But not in the comics anymore, that's for sure. Great Legion. This guy's work is just phenomenal. He is not digital as far as I know. He is still on paper doing work traditionally. Thank God. Nothing against people working 100% digital. I have a feeling in 20 years or so, there's not going to be many people doing traditional unless, you know, people just go back. But I just have a feeling a lot of people are going to regret it when they don't have original artwork. And it's just digital files. Very cool Batman based on a Frank Miller Batman pose. That's awesome. Frank really set the bar with drawing a chunky, thick Batman. I did him on a sketch cover once. Of course, these are the old school Batmans. Very nice. Oh, look at this. Nice full color here with markers. Cool Angel. Cyclops, Jean Grey. Just, I got to admit, I look at this and I'm like, man, I want to get out the Copic markers. I don't have a full color set though. I only have, I have some colors, but not enough. But I can do grayscale. I've got enough for grayscale, but I haven't used them in a while, so I don't know if they're any good anymore. That's the problem. Very cool. I also wonder how much planning goes into this. Like, I look at it and I think to myself, all right, I'm going to draw it. I'm going to color it. I wonder if he does like really quick comps with his gray markers for the lighting and stuff, like really quick, and then puts that next to him to do the final piece like this. Because once again, it's unforgiving. You mess up when you're doing this, and I'm not sure whiteout's going to help. But I could be wrong. And he ends it with a beautiful, beautiful Colossus. Man, that is nice. So there you go, guys. All right, thank you for joining me on these two book looks. And next week, let me pull the camera back some here. We'll do Encore, The Art of Liam Sharp, the Silver, which is his black and white work. Check out Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. Guys, as of now, I have, well, as of this recording, which is on Sunday, this comes out on Tuesday, I have 2 pages left to draw. Go check out the trailer. I'm so excited for this book. I think you guys are going to love it. We're closing down the t-shirts and the beanie this week to get those orders in. So please go order the t-shirt or t-shirts and beanie now. There's my t-shirt design, Bud Roots t-shirt design, a great beanie to keep your head warm in the winter. Go check out the book. If you haven't backed it, get on it. 76 pages of fun barbarian action. I will catch you guys later. AndySmithArt.com. Andy Smith Art for all the social media stuff. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye-bye, everybody.